Hi, Daniel here, and I'm recording for the Lion King fandom auditions. Ready, begin. Oh, and I'm auditioning for Nala. Who are you? Simba? Wow! Where did you come from? What do you mean, what am I doing here? What are you doing here? The pleasure's all mine. Wait till everybody finds out you've been here all this time. And your mother, what will she think? Well, of course they do. Everybody thinks you're dead. Yeah, Scar told us about the stampede. What else matters? You're alive. And that means you're the king. Simba. It's like we're back from the dead. You don't know what this will mean to everyone. What it means to me. I've really missed you. He's holding back, he's hiding, but what I can't decide. Why won't he be the king I know he is, the king I see inside? It is beautiful, but I don't understand something. Why didn't you come back to Pride Rock? Yes, we do. You're the king. Simba, he took over the Pride Lands. Everything's destroyed. Simba, if you don't do something, well, I'll starve. You're not the Simba I remember. No, just disappointed. At least one of us is. Fine. Simba, wait up. I laugh in the face of danger. Ha ha ha. Hey, you guys, wake up. Wake up. Guys. Whoa, 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 it's me. Have you guys seen Simba? He was, but now I can't find him. Where is he? I can't believe it. He's gone back. That was my audition for Nala. Thank you. Now I am auditioning for, Scar. Life's not fair, is it? Well, I shall never be king. And you shall never see the light of another day. Adieu. Sorry about the phone. Just let it ring. So how was my Nala? Okay, now I'm gonna restart. And I'm auditioning for Zazu now. I'm skipping my Scar. Didn't your mother tell you not to play with your food? I'm here to announce that King Mufasa's on his way. So you better have a good excuse for missing the ceremony this morning. Now, Scar, don't look at me that way. Help! Impeccable timing, Your Majesty. Pity. Why not? He make a very handsome throwback. Just think, every time he gets dirty, you could take him out and beat him. I've never seen a king of beasts with quite so little hair. This child is really getting wildly out of wing. This child is getting wildly out of wing. I've got a lovely bunch of coconut, there we are. Oh, I've never had to do this to Mufasa. I just mentioned his name to change your royal proclamations. That was my audition for Zazu. Now I'm gonna do my audition for young Simba. Dad, Dad, Dad. All right. Hey, Nala. Hey, come on. I just heard about this really cool place. No, it's really cool. Around the waterhole. I'll show you when we get there. Aw, not Zazu. Shh, Zazu. Oh yeah? Well, I pulled it off. Oh yeah? I didn't mean to, it was an accident. That was my audition for Simba, young Simba, now Rafiki. Simba. He's alive? He's alive! Asante sana, shut banana, where we no going whenever. It means you're a baboon, and I am not. Oh yeah, you don't even know who you are. Hey, don't take the stick. Hey! Yes, get out of here. It is time. That was my audition for Rafiki, old baboon. Now my audition for Mufasa. Scar, drop him. That hairball is my son and your future king. Don't turn your back on me, Scar. Is that a challenge? Zazu. All right, I'm up. Simba, everything the light touches is our kingdom. A king's time as ruler rises and falls like the sun. One day, Simba, the sun will set on my time here and will rise with you as a new king. Everything. You must never go there, Simba. There's more to being king than to getting away all the time. Simba. The world exists in a delicate balance, so you must respect that balance. From the crawling ant to the leaping antelope. Yes, but when we die, our bodies become the grass, and the antelope eat the grass, and so we are all connected in the great circle of life. Good morning, Zazu. Remember who you are. You are my son and the one true king. Remember. That was my audition for The Lion King. Thank you. And good luck to all the other auditioners. Thanks. Bye. And I just can't wait. And I just can't wait to see the fandom. Bye.